Welcome to One Life, the podcast where we embrace the journey of living fully and intentionally in every area of life. My name is Matt Farnham, and while I don't have it all figured out, I'm walking this journey with you, convinced we don't have to choose between a thriving career and thriving relationships, health, and purpose. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And together we'll explore how to create work-life harmony, reject the lies of comparison, steward our gifts, and embrace the life God desires for all of us. Welcome to One Life. All right. Well, welcome back to the One Life podcast. I want to thank you again for listening and being a part of our One Life community. Today is super fun. I have a guest I can't wait to share with you. He's a really close friend of mine. I'd almost call him a brother. And I wrote his bio for him just because I thought that'd be fun. So I don't think he minds, but let me get into that. Today's guest is someone who truly lives one life with purpose, presence, and a whole lot of energy. He's the CEO and founder of the RMG Group, a top-performing real estate team in Orange County, California. But more than that, he's a husband, connector, community builder, and someone who relentlessly is committed to doing life and business with intention. That is absolutely one thing I could say clearly about Rob is his intentionality in everything he does. In fact, I even came up with a title for this episode for you, Rob. It's Magnetic Living, How Robert Mack Connects Life, Love, and Real Estate. What do you think of that?
I love it, man. It's such a connected puzzle that I think you hit the nail on the head. It's
nice.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, a formal welcome to my great friend, Robert Mack, bro. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, hey, just to kick off, and by the way, little full story or full circle context for everybody. This One Life vision has kind of come to life over the last few years, but Rob has been very involved in those conversations early on. In fact, at breakfast here in Vegas was even when the One Life, I think, title even came about, maybe if I remember.
Yeah, the concept, the title, I think you were just kind of spitballing and it just sort of rolled off your tongue.
Yes, so it's perfect that you're here, part of season one, bro. So, hey, so just to kind of the icebreaker, Rob, I want to ask you a question. We're going to talk a lot about how you are, that magnetic personality, but everything you do comes back to building community, networking. You're a relationship guy. There's no rich like relationship rich. I mean, you definitely exemplify that. What would you say is your secret power walking into a room? Like, what is it? What's the hack where you walk into a room and you're just able to instantly connect with somebody in all these different settings you're in?
You know, I think I just crave relationships, and I think it stems from the early on childhood experiences that I had because I was an only child. And I remember just loving being around people because I knew that the minute I was not around those people, I was going to go home and be by myself. And so I was an insane extrovert because I just knew that I just wanted to be around a lot of people. And I get this quality from my mom. Like, my mom is fearless when it comes to talking to people. Like, I've seen her walk up to literally the first lady, Barbara Bush, and she's like, I want to meet you, I want to talk to you. And she's not afraid. And I got that quality from her. So for me, it was I never had brothers and sisters, and I wish that I did. And because I didn't, I wanted to be around as many people as possible. And so for me, I just didn't have that fear to talk to people. And that's kind of what I think is. So
now everybody's your brother and sister.
Yeah, basically.
And that's how you come off, man, which I love it, dude. And it's so genuine too. It doesn't feel manufactured at all. It's raw. I love it, man. So, well, hey, I want to get into one of the best places to start when we're talking about One Life. Man, I've had the privilege to get to spend some extended time with you and Tanya, your wife. Man, I know that you honor her and your marriage is like super important and priority in your life, which is one of my favorite things about you and why we're such good friends. But in light of that, I know you guys work together too, and that's an interesting dynamic. So I want to lean into that for a moment. How did you and Tanya start working together? And maybe even go a little bit deeper, how I know that's really kind of leveled up or the amount of time you're spending together at work has really grown in the last few months because of some projects you're working on. So let's get into that a little bit. How'd you guys start working together? And then bringing her to your content creation specifically. Let's talk about that.
So before I get into that, what I do want everyone watching to know is so we're going to be celebrating 20 years of marriage in December. And for the first 19 years, maybe 18 and a half years, I was on autopilot. I was not living the one life. I was very involved with work. I was focused on chasing money. My narrative was, if I can spend as much time as I need to spend at work to make the money that I want to make, then I can have the life I want with my wife. So if you're not there, I just want everyone watching to know that I wasn't there until about a year ago. And even now, I'm still a work in progress, right? There are still moments where I'm working way too much. There are still moments where I'm not giving Tanya the attention she deserves. There are still moments where I'm not giving myself, my mind and my body, the attention I deserve, and I get caught up in that hamster wheel. So if you're there, I'm there too, and I'm still a work in progress. I have so much more growth on the horizon, but the cool thing is we now know, we talk about it more, right? We talk about this one life approach more, and it's more intentional now than it has ever been in the past. So just want to disclose that first. I'm not better than anyone else watching this right now.
Hey, bro, just a real quick, like the introduction to this, every episode we have is, I don't claim to have arrived either. There's no PhD in work-life harmony. We don't ever arrive, right? But it's the intentionality to work on it. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. And then there is no real balance, right? Like you can't do 33% work, 33%. Like it's just like, I think for me, it's whatever I'm doing, I want to be fully present, right? So I don't want to be kind of half-assing it at work or half-assing it with my wife. Like if I'm at work, I'm working. And when I'm done working, then I'm done. And if I'm with my wife, Tanya, then we're together, right? So it's about being present and in the moment and making sure that everything that's important to me is getting touched in my life. So, with Tanya, her and I have been kind of on and off. And the reason why we've been on and off with work is because she's had different goals in her life over the last 20 years. And I've had different goals in my life and my professional life over the last 20 years. So when I first got into the business as a solo agent, her and I would do a lot of stuff together. And then as I started building a team, I guess for a lack of a better way of saying this is I didn't need her as much because I had other people supporting me and my vision. And, without going into too much detail, I've been solo, I've had teams that supported me, I've had teams that I've supported, but we've gotten to the point now where after 19 years of being in the real estate industry, what I've learned is although I am a leader and although I am a great mentor and a great teacher, I don't necessarily think that's my highest and best use of time. I do love helping people. I do love mentoring people. But what I've learned is that in real estate, my highest and best use is actually being belly to belly with the consumer, the person that wants to make a decision, a huge life decision where real estate purchase or sale is involved. And that's where I think I'm most productive. I'm not most productive having 15 or 20 agents on my team mentoring them. And so now that I've found this newfound intention with work, I'm almost again not a solo agent because now I still have 4 or 5 team members that support me, but I'm doing my thing now. I'm selling real estate. I'm helping people buy. And so I've reincorporated Tanya into the mix because her and I work really well together because she does certain things that I don't like or don't do well. And I do certain things that she doesn't like or she doesn't do well. So, for example, I really love working with sellers. I love developing a strategy around how we're going to get their piece of property sold to help them achieve their ultimate goal. I don't necessarily love driving around showing properties, right? It can be very time consuming. It just takes a lot of my day away from me where I don't have control. And so Tanya loves people. She loves showing property. She has a flexible schedule. So for her to take 3 or 4 hours out of her day to go show property is a lot more reasonable than me doing that because I have so many other things that I'm working on. Another thing that Tanya does well is social media. She's very creative. I do it well too, but I don't necessarily do the back end of the social media. I'm really more of the forefront of the social media where I'm creating the content, but I have a team that will do all the post production. But with Tanya, she loves doing short form content. She loves marketing. She loves looking at properties. So her and I will go do, social media out and around town, but then she'll spend time editing and creating the content for Instagram. So for example, to my newsletter, I'm getting so much great feedback on my newsletter. I've always wanted a great newsletter, a customized newsletter where I could keep the people in my life in the loop with what I'm working on, personally and professionally. And Tanya loves doing it, and I don't like doing it. And so for her to be able to spend a couple hours every couple weeks preparing this beautiful newsletter and mailing it out to everybody, and then getting feedback from people like, wow, Robert, I love your newsletter. It puts a huge smile on my face, because I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it, but I know it's necessary. She likes doing it. She's great at it, and she wants to feel useful. And it's just a perfect combination. So, I can go on and on about the little things that she does, but the bottom line is we've found ways to work together. And many of those situations, I'm doing my thing, she's doing her thing, and sometimes we come together, but it looks like one team. Yeah. So if that makes sense.
Well, I'll tell you, your video game is much better when Tanya's involved.
For sure, we get
it's the personality, the accent, and the way you guys like ping off each other is so good, man. It's very engaging.
It truly is. Like I'm trying to incorporate her into the long form stuff that I'm doing, but. But yeah, it's interesting because too, as husband and wife, we see each other when we're not working, and then if we're working together, we see each other when we're working, and so sometimes that can create some tension, and we can butt heads a little bit. But again, I think we are together enough to where it makes a great impact in our business, but not so much to where we're always together and possibly like butting heads. So it's a nice balance, a nice mix of work together.
Awesome, dude. Well, let's lead into the real superpower that everybody knows Robert Mack to be, which is that networking. You even say networking is my superpower. I've heard you say that multiple times, and I can back you up on that. I've seen it come to life. So with this magnetic personality you have, bro, what does that networking's my superpower, like, unpack that a little bit more? What's that mean to you when you say that?
So one of my early on networking mentors used to always say, it's not net sit, it's network. It actually requires work. The word work is in there, right? And so
hang on one sec. For you guys listening, he just said a networking mentor. How many of you have a networking mentor?
Yeah,
that's high level, bro.
No, look, we identify people that are doing what we want to do, and then we gravitate towards them and we learn from them. And a lot of times people, especially higher level people, they like to help others, right? Like, and I started off by saying my highest and best use of time might not be mentoring people, but I still mentor people every day. I have agents literally this week. 2 agents that are not at my brokerage, that don't even know me, reached out to me and said, Robert, I saw your YouTube channel and I've been following your journey, and I've noticed that you've seen a huge amount of success in the last 16 months. And I'd love to set up a time to talk with you about what you did over the last 16 months that has resulted in this. And I will take those calls, right? So I love helping others, and I love when other people help me. But the bottom line is going back to your question, is you've got to work it, right? So I tell people, just because you have a membership at the gym doesn't mean you're going to be healthy. You have to go to the gym consistently. You have to have a plan. You have to eat right outside of the gym, right? You can't just have a gym membership. So you can't just join the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce and then all of a sudden get showered with referrals. You've got to go to the events. Right. You've got to make connections. And one thing that I will say is, I learned this through BNI, is givers gain. A lot of people that network, it doesn't matter. Networking could be any type of community, right? I've generated referrals from church. That's not a professional network, but people get to know me, like me, and trust me. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're committed to going to church and you participate and people can rely on you, they will translate that into you being a reliable real estate agent as well. I generate business from the pickleball club. It's not a professional network, but people identify me as a great real estate agent because I'm a great pickleball player and pickleball community advocate. Same with the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce. So giver's gain is you have whatever you want in life, you must give that away first, right? And that we talk a lot about tithing, right? A cheerful giver. If you want referrals, you must give referrals first.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want people to write reviews for you on Google or Yelp or Zillow, you must be a review writer, right? I can't tell you how many agents I know that go, I can't get reviews. I go, how many reviews do you write? Oh, I don't write reviews. Well, if you don't write reviews, how can you expect other people to write reviews for you? So every time I go to a restaurant, I will make an intentional effort to get the server's name. I will identify my experience in terms of what it felt like when I parked. How quickly did they get to me? How good was the food? What did I order? And I will write reviews because I know that if I want reviews, I must write reviews. And so for me, my superpower is getting involved in different networks, identifying people that I want to get to know better, and then learning as much about them as possible, and then helping them achieve their goals, which in turn helps me achieve my goals, right? We've heard this. Yeah. We talked about this on Rooted on Monday, right? If you help enough people get what they want, you will get everything that you want. So that's my approach with networking is get involved, get visible, build credibility, give, and then ultimately it'll come back around full cycle to you.
And I think the important note there is give not to get, right? Give in an authentic value creation way, and it will circle back to you. Entrepreneurship's interesting. We're the only type of work where you don't make any money until you have created value, right? So always go into every circle, like how can I contribute? How can I create value? And yeah, it'll come back to you. So giver's gain, write that down as you're listening. Rob, I want to lean in more to what you talked about. You mentioned pickleball, you mentioned the chamber. You've been in this season in the last number of months where you've really transitioned a lot of your focus to go hyper local. Newport Beach, Corona Del Mar, like this is where you love to be. So lean into that just a little bit more, how you have started to weave business and fun together, specifically where you want to live, work, and play.
Yeah. So when I first got into the real estate industry, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't really have a roadmap. I was desperate to make money. My narrative was, I don't care where it is. If it's a house to sell or somebody to help buy, I'll do it. And I don't know if many of your viewers understand the geography of Orange County or Southern California, but there were days where I was based in Orange County. I would drive to LA to show a property, and then I would go meet it with a seller in the San Bernardino area, and I'd even go down to San Diego, right? And so to put that in a nutshell, one of my coaches told me, Robert, I'd much rather you have 10 conversations with 100 people than one conversation with 1,000 people, right? So the moral of the story here is you've got to go deep, not wide. Yeah. And for the first 17 years of my career, I was going very wide. So I was good at what I did, but I wasn't great at what I did in a specific area. I was just kind of all over the place, right? Jack of all trades. And about 3 years ago, we moved our office to Newport Beach because we just wanted to start something new. Just, after 17 years, real estate got a little bit monotonous. So we said, let's try something new. And started going deeper into the coastal market, specifically Newport Beach and Corona Del Mar. Corona Del Mar is still Newport Beach, but it's just like a micro community in Newport Beach. And we just started going deeper. And I thought to myself, okay, well, if I was going to go all in, it's a scary thing to go all in on like one city, right? Because what you don't want to do is pigeonhole yourself into a situation where it's like, okay, well, I'm the Newport Beach expert. Well, what if somebody wants to buy in Costa Mesa, which is one city over, and it's a great community? I don't want to turn business away, but I think it's an abundant mindset situation where you're like, you know what, I'm going to go deep in Newport Beach and I'm going to generate enough business to where even if somebody doesn't use me in Costa Mesa, it doesn't matter because I'm doing 10x in Newport Beach because of how deep I've gone. Yeah. And so that's been a mindset shift for me. Even most recently, I changed my Instagram bio to Newport Beach Realtor. And it sort of scared me a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh, what if somebody wants to buy in Mission Viejo and they see that I'm only selling homes in Newport Beach? Will they reach out to me and ask me if I can help them in Mission Viejo?
Yeah.
And then I have to tell myself, it doesn't matter, right? So my business model changed. And so basically my business model went two parts. So part one is you've been doing this for 20 years. You generate 70% of your business comes by way of repeat and referral business. And that business can be almost anywhere in Orange County. Service those people. Talk to the people that know you, like you, trust you, add value, continue to generate business around the county because that's what's keeping the lights on.
Right.
The second part of the business is any dollar I have to spend, any minute I have, pour that into Newport Beach. So all my new business attraction is Newport Beach and Corona Del Mar. And so now one part of my business is servicing the business that I've developed. And the other part is you're going after a new business. And part of that going after a new business means getting involved with the community and going deeper because real estate is very relational.
Yeah.
I would say high-end real estate is insanely relational, right? Like you're not seeing as many online leads in the luxury space as you are in the $300 to $1 million price points, right? Most people are like, who do you know? I have a $4 million home I want to sell. Who should I call, right? And so developing relationships in Newport Beach was super important to me. So I said, okay, well, what can I do to get in front of the people that I want to serve in a very casual, non-threatening way? Well, one of the first things I decided to do was the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce because that will connect me to other local businesses in Newport Beach that are doing what I'm trying to do. We're all just doing our best to build a business to serve the community. And through there, I knew I'd make a lot of new connections, which I have been. I've been there for about a year. The second thing was, and if you know me, you know I just absolutely love to have fun. I love to stay active. I love to be healthy. And so for me, joining the pickleball club was a no-brainer. It's worst case scenario, I generate no referrals. I have an insane amount of fun. Right. Best case scenario is I have an insane amount of fun, but I meet the people that I want to connect with and ultimately help.
Yeah.
And then from those two networks, I developed micro networks. So for example, from the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, I learned about a program called the Distinguished Citizens Program of Newport Beach. And they do this class twice a year. I was a graduating class, the 12th class, where basically it's a 5-week class where there's 5 to 6 speakers every week. And everybody that speaks is a high level, holds a high level position in the city of Newport Beach. So for example, the mayor spoke, the city manager spoke, the city attorney spoke, the police chief spoke, the fire chief spoke, the harbor master spoke, the person in charge of the library in Newport Beach spoke, the director of John Wayne Airport spoke. So it's like, if you are someone in Orange County, in Newport Beach that runs the city, I heard from you and I developed these relationships and I developed a micro network. Through the pickleball club, I met one of my best friends now who also has been involved in a local Bible study men's group in Newport Beach, and now I'm a part of that. And so it's like start here and then kind of, Tom Ferry always says inside out marketing.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's like, let's just start with these micro networks and then let's just go where those micro networks lead.
Yeah.
And through that, I've just developed so many new relationships. And then I recently moved my office to Compass Newport Beach. So now I'm spending time around agents in Newport Beach that are doing what I want to do. But again, now I'm in Newport Beach for work. I'm in Newport Beach when I network. It's just like all my networks are kind of colliding.
I feel like, a lot of people have the fear of loss. You mentioned, hey, I'm going to go really deep on this thing, but I'm going to scare people away or push people away. But hear what he said, for all of our listeners out there, 70% of his business is still by referral. He's still servicing those people. And they don't care if he's marketing Newport Beach or Orange County or what. They know, like, and trust him. They're going to use him. I love how simplicity actually scales, right? Complexity doesn't scale. And you're experiencing that right now. But I want to focus on also how you lean into, because you talked about the worst case is I have an insane amount of fun, right, at pickleball.
Right.
But let's lean into how you stay in touch with those 70% of people. I love, because it's so in line with the One Life idea of maximizing capacity. Like, instead of all these extra spinning plates, what if we could just align everything into one beautiful story, one beautiful life? You're doing that hyper local with the things you just mentioned. But let's talk about the Adventure Club. I love your Adventure Club, man. I think it's so perfect with the One Life mission. So talk about how that started and what that looks like with your sphere.
Yeah, so I was working with one of my coaches from about a year ago, Jimmy Rex, and you know him. I did We Are the They, a men's group with him, and he gave us a book by Lewis Howes, and I was reading the book, and after reading it, I determined that my passion is people, relationships, and adventure. And ultimately, if I was going to tie that together, what would that look like? Well, it would be doing fun things with people that I love or people that I want to get to know, or get deeper with, right? And the one thing that Jimmy told me that was really, really cool was when you do whatever word you want to put in here, fill in the blank, crazy, adventurous, scary, once in a lifetime bucket list stuff, whatever that word is, when you do that with people, you accelerate the relationship versus just meeting somebody at a network meeting, right? So like, for example, in 2018, I climbed the tallest peak in South America with 7 other guys, and 3 of those guys are some of my best friends now because of that experience. When you do cool things with cool people, those relationships become more memorable. And so I thought to myself, if I'm going to generate business from people that know me, like me, and trust me, how can I create a deeper relationship with these people? And how can I get to know the people that I'm just getting to meet even better? And that's when the Adventure Club came about. So I said, okay, well, I want to start doing fun things with great people. And there was 3 intentions behind it. The first was I want to go deeper with people that I already know. I want the people that I already know to meet other people that I already know. And I want to do fun stuff. That's it, right? So, for example, the Grand Canyon, right? We did this a few weeks ago. I decided I wanted to do the Grand Canyon South Rim to North Rim. And once I decided I wanted to do it, I had to figure out who I wanted to do it with. And I know everyone's not going to be down for that, right? It's like a 14-hour hike. It's like 28 miles. It's not for the faint at heart. But I reached out to 10 people that I thought would say yes, and 4 said yes. And us 5 together went and did it, and we had the trip of a lifetime. And literally, it was a good friend of mine that I met through my Armenian church that actually, him and I discuss real estate investing all the time. It was a past client of mine that I helped him buy and sell multiple properties, and I invited him. It was a lender that I know, and then it was my lender's friend. So I got to meet somebody new, right? But like, I got to do something that I've always wanted to do, which is hike the Grand Canyon. I got to do it with people that I care about. I got to learn more about them. And, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if business came from that experience. And so it doesn't have to be a 4-day, 28-mile thing. It could just be a day hike, right? But the Adventure Club in general is, what do I want to do? What puts a smile on my face? And who can I bring along for the ride? Because what I learned is this. So many people want to do fun stuff, but very few people want to actually plan it.
Totally.
Right?
Yep.
So like, I did a poker tournament at my house, and I invited 17 friends. I hired dealers to bring tables, and they dealt, and they brought chips and all that stuff. And I had the party catered, and I got to play poker with 17 friends and clients and friends of friends. And everybody was like, dude, thank you so much for planning this. This was so much fun. I just loved getting out of the house and playing poker. But none of them would ever plan that, but they would participate. So as a leader, as somebody that wants to bring people together, that's my calling. Like, I actually enjoy doing this kind of stuff because I want to develop these relationships. And now it's like, well, now I have this database of people from the chamber, and I've got this database of people that I've met from the pickleball club. So now as I do the Adventure Club, I'm inviting those kinds of people, and those are potentially my future clients. And you can see where I'm going with this.
And now you're cross-pollinating those people with people who have already transacted with you. Now they're edifying you. Credibility's there. It's beautiful.
Do you know? So I sold a house 2 months ago in an area called city of Lake Forest. And I got this lead 3 years ago. And this woman didn't really know me, and she was interviewing multiple agents, and she was kind of like on the fence, and she didn't know if she wanted to sell. And whatever, she was in my database. Like, she was getting my newsletter. And so one of my adventure clubs was salsa dancing. So I hired a salsa dancing teacher. We found space, and I had enough space for 30 people. So I sent out a mass email to 6,000 of my clients, people that I knew. And I said, we're doing salsa dancing. It's on this date. It's in this area. It's limited to 30 people. If you're interested, let me know. And this woman, who isn't my friend, she was an online lead, was like, oh my gosh, my husband and I would love to participate. We love dancing, and we never get out anymore. We never do date night anymore. So I was like, cool. So she comes. I don't really know her that well. Again, I was one of like 4 agents she was thinking about hiring. And I had that's the only thing I knew about her. So one thing I do before every adventure club is, and I do this because I love to watch people squirm. People don't like speaking in front of other people. So I always say, you got to tell me your name. You got to tell me what you do. And you got to tell me how you know me. And I want everyone to hear that.
Uh-huh.
So she called me the day after and she said, Robert, I just want you to know that, first of all, we're so grateful that you got, Emo and me out on a date night. We haven't danced in years. That was so much fun. But she goes, we want to hire you. We want to sell our house. And I was like, well, wow, like, tell me what changed. She goes, listening to all the people that were there talk about how they knew you, about the fact that you were their real estate agent, and that how happy they were and how grateful they were that you helped them and that they were still there and they liked you, made me feel like you were the one I wanted to work with, right? And so again, it turned into business, and I ended up selling her house. And that was the whole goal. Like, let's have fun, let's meet people, and if it turns into business, cool. If it doesn't, we still had fun.
Yeah.
But it did turn into business. And so that's the goal.
I love it, man. The idea of maximize capacity, the way I say it, you've heard me say it, Rob, but like, where does God already have you in your life? What are the passions that he's given you, the relationships he's given you, or whatever? And instead of trying to go create, like most realtors or entrepreneurs are like, okay, where's the next shortcut or next hack I can go sign up for to try and get some leads or whatever? When if you already find yourself on the sidelines of the soccer field 2 or 3 nights a week, or you love pickleball, or you find yourself in these, are we really squeezing everything until it pops out the top before we go create all these other spinning plates? And knowing we were going to talk about this, I wrote this statement down. I said, alignment amplifies capacity. If you think about that, alignment amplifies capacity. You don't need more plates. You need more purpose behind the plates you're already spinning, right? And that's exactly what you're doing, bro. Yeah. I love it, man. I want to transition with the few minutes we have left here. A couple more things I want to cover. But one, man, you've been on a radical faith journey for these last few years. It's been just, honestly, bro, one of the greatest joys of my life, just being up close and personal to this journey and seeing it. I'm curious, what shifted for you in the last few years? And more specifically, how has leaning into your faith changed the way you show up in your business, but also your marriage and your community, your relationships?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there to unpack. I guess going back, it was Good Friday 2022, and my wife, Tanya, she had bumped into this woman at the plant store. And they started talking, and they became Facebook friends. This was like 6 months before Good Friday 2022. Mm-hmm. And they just started following each other. And then Tanya was posting verses from the Bible, and this woman noticed. And so the woman was like, hey, listen, we're having a Good Friday service at our church, and I just think that you should come check it out. And so Tanya was on this faith journey, and I was like, you do you, babe. Like, you do you. I'm not really interested. Like, I believe in God, but I don't have time for all this stuff. And she just asked me one day, she's like, hey, babe, I was invited to this church. Will you go with me? And I said, I will go with you. And it was really just to support Tanya. Right. And I went to this Good Friday service, and I was listening to the pastor speak, and I was just feeling very like engaged. And then they did the whole thing at the very end where it's like, bow your head, close your eyes. And if you're not good with God, and if you went to heaven, if you were at heaven's gates, and would he let you in, and all these things. And I just felt, and he was like, well, raise your hand if you want more God. And I just couldn't help it. I raised my hand, man, right then and there. And I just gave my life to the Lord right then and there. And I remember just going, babe, I love this place. I want to come back. And that's kind of where it started. And for the first 2 years, I was just a church guy, bro. Every Sunday, church. Sometimes on Thursday, church. Loved it. made me feel good. I was stressed out. I went there. It just felt good. But it wasn't until about a year and a half ago where I was like, you know what? Like, I want to learn more about God. I want to read the Bible. I want to understand the principles. I want to apply it in my life. I don't want to just go to church on Sunday. I want to act. I want to be a reflection of God every day. You know, I want to be able to even learn as much so I can spread the word and help other people find the peace that I have found. And that's kind of where I'm at in my journey. Like, and I've talked to you about this a bunch of times. I still feel like an idiot when it comes to the Bible. Like, you know, I can't quote verses. I mean, I can quote a few, but I'm still a total newbie when it comes to reading the Bible and understanding it and applying the biblical principles. But I will tell you that I have just learned so much about how to treat people, coming from a place of love. Like, before, I'd be very short-tempered, potentially passive-aggressive with people if they've rubbed me the wrong way. And now I catch myself and I'm like, well, look, if I'm coming from a place of love and I have mercy, how would I respond? How would Jesus respond to somebody like this, right? Or just, you know, if I see somebody that's struggling on the street and having a conversation with them and not just walking by them because it's a tough conversation to have. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with everything. And I just love this space, you know, like real estate. Life is so stressful. Yeah. And when I feel stressed out, I immediately turn to the Lord. I immediately start to pray. I'll open my Bible. I'll read whatever verse calls me. And there's just this peace that makes no sense, right? I've said that to you before, where you could just release it. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, the other day I was driving and I was like, and we've talked about this a little bit, right? That, like, the market's a little bit challenging. It's volatile. It's unpredictable. And I was driving and I'm like, God, you know, like, I know you got my back and I know this is all going to work out. And I know this is amazing. And I know you have me on the right path. And although my reserves are getting dangerously low, I know this is just all part of it. And I had this huge smile on my face. And I truly, truly have radical faith and believe that I'm all good, you know? And look, if something happens and I'm not all good in that moment, I know I will be all good because I know there'll be a godly lesson there. And I know I have enough people in my life that want the best for me. And I know that I'm going to be good. And so it's just, you know, believing something that you can't see, hearing things that you can't technically hear, but you know there's a presence there is something that I'm so grateful that I've found. Yeah. Because I think about it all the time. I'm like, gosh, if that woman didn't invite Tanya to church that day and I didn't get saved and God wasn't a big part of my life, I don't know how I would be. I don't know how I would be handling this right now because this is just way too much and I can't do this on my own. And I'm glad I don't have to anymore.
I love it, man. Well, dude, I absolutely see Jesus in you all the time, man. So thank you for sharing your story. And for our listeners, like you hear Rob, like there's no arrival in faith either, right? Like, I love the saying is, hey, I might not be all the man I'm meant to be, but thank God I'm not the man I used to be, right? We're growing, we're on a path. And and Rob and I, we got to spend a couple weeks together in Southeast Asia on a mission trip. Really cool. Talk about those experiences that, like, you know, solidify that relationship for a lifetime. Really cool experience, man. And
we could do a 10-hour podcast if we wanted to.
Oh, 100%.
Totally blow Joe Rogan out of the water.
100%. So one more thing I want to lean into is you always say, I love doing hard things. That's something that I love that you say it. My kids even like that even made their ears perk up when they hear you say that. So, you know, rim to rim, Ironman, building a real estate brand is very hard things, right? You've hiked mountains. You went on this mission trip with me to Southeast Asia on the other side of the world. I mean, these are hard things out of your comfort zone. What has those types of things taught you when it comes to building business and building this beautiful life?
Being able to keep going when it gets hard, right? Being able to keep going when most people will give up. You know, I don't want to stereotype. I really don't know the numbers, but I will say that most people don't know what it feels like to walk up a mountain for, 6 hours straight. Like, the pain and the suffering of walking up this mountain when you're hot, when you're thirsty, when your legs are burning, when you don't see any end in sight, but you have to keep going. the only way you can get out of the Grand Canyon is to put one foot in front of the other, most people won't know what that feeling is like. And I truly believe that if you don't know what that feeling is like, then you can't push in other areas of your life. It's David Goggins says that when you feel like giving up, you're probably like 20 to 30% of your capacity, right? It's our brain that gives up first. So doing hard things trains my brain in such a way where when things get hard, I know I still have so much more left in me. And so whether it's, physically doing something challenging, like climbing up a mountain for 15 hours straight, which I've done multiple days in a row, where you just don't want to even wake up, but you just do it. Or whether it's like a mental challenge where no matter what you do, you keep hitting roadblocks. It's like, it's so easy. The world has become so soft, in my opinion, that it's so easy to just give up. And so for me, I don't want to give up. I want to keep fighting as much as I could fight until I can achieve the goal I want. And these physical challenges that I do help train my brain to know that just because it's hard doesn't mean you have to stop.
Well, you're building this. You're putting all this work into building this YouTube channel right now, right? Like you're really blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. But I would imagine with your mindset being conditioned that way, that like you're able to say, hey, this is when my competition gives up, but I can push through. I got another 70% in me, right?
Absolutely, man. And that's the thing. If it's worth doing, if there's a huge prize at the end, it's not going to be easy. And a lot of people will pray for things to be easy, but that's not where growth comes, right? Growth comes through resistance. If you're not working hard, if you're not thinking hard, if you're not pushing beyond your comfort zone, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then, I'm not really sure what
you're dying.
You're dying. And so I like to do that stuff. Like for example, even yesterday, and I don't want to come off as being judgmental, but I look around and I see different people and I just think to myself, if something happens right now and you have to run away, most people can't even run a quarter of a mile without completely being gassed, right? Like if you have to run away from somebody, I know we live in this like America and freedom and all this stuff, but if something goes down and you have to run away, how long can you run for before you can't run anymore and they catch up to you and something bad happens? Right. Most people can't run a mile. I can. I know I can run away, right? So it's like I want to be mentally fit and strong, and I want to push beyond my comfort zone. I want to be physically fit, so if I have to do something physical, I can. And I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to take care of the people around me. And so doing hard things keeps my mind and my body sharp.
Yeah. One thing that you've had a really big influence on me, Rob, in the area of gratitude specifically, that comes down to mindset and attitude. And you're one of the most positive people I've ever met. I've always been focused on gratitude. I know the power of it. It's in the Bible. It's very clear. It's hard to be anxious when you're grateful. But man, you really have challenged me to take that to another level, which has now spidered out to influence a whole lot of other men that I'm walking with now, which is pretty cool. So you started this gratitude practice that impacted me. We do 10 gratitudes a day, every day. I think for a year and a half, I don't know that we've missed more than a couple mornings in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And now dozens others are doing this with us. So specifically gratitude, how's that played a role in your one beautiful life, right? With Tanya, with your business, with your relationships. Well, how does gratitude keep you centered?
So I see people, I feel like the average person likes to focus on the things that are not going right in their life. When if they were to stop and just for a moment say, okay, well, I'm just going to make a list of everything that happened today that was bad and everything that happened today that was good. I would say that the good list is probably 50x what the bad list is, right? So it's like when the average person goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened, I go, wow, these are the 10 things that were amazing today.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is bad stuff's going to happen all the time, every day, every week, every month, bad stuff is going to happen. And if you focus on the bad, they always say, right, whatever you focus on grows. And so, I didn't get that listing. But if I just sit and sulk about not getting that listing, I'm going to be in a bad mood. And I don't like being in a bad mood, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I didn't get that listing, but what did I get today? And then I focus on the 10 things that I got. And I'm like, wow, any of those things I could have not gotten to, but I did get them. Mm-hmm. So God provided 10x, and I didn't get this one thing. And to be honest with you, God probably didn't give that to me for a reason anyway. So I'm winning no matter what. And so you said it, right? Like, you are one of the most positive people I know. And I believe that. Like, I am one of the most optimistic, positive people that I know. And I used to tell people too that were around me that were struggling in life. And I would say, hey, don't let this smile fool you. I'm struggling just like you're struggling. But I choose to focus on the things that are going good in my life, not because I got my head buried in the sand, but because I'm grateful for all the good things that are happening in my life, because there are other people that don't have these things happening in their life, and I don't want to take anything for granted. So that's grounding, right? Like, I just like to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes every morning going through, like, what happened yesterday that was a blessing? What happened this week that was a blessing? And you got to get like super, like, you and I, we change it up. Mm-hmm. It's not the same 10 every day.
Right.
So it's like, if you're going to change it up, you have to start to identify things that you wouldn't even talk about. Like, every now and then I'll throw in, I'm grateful for socks. And people are like, socks? Like, you're grateful for socks? Like, what kind of socks are these? Are these special socks? It's like, no, dude. But if we didn't have socks, imagine your feet would be like stinky and sweaty, and you'd have blisters. And like, thank God for socks. Whoever invented them is a genius, because like, socks are so valuable. But we just put them on and we throw them away and we lose them and we buy more, and no one ever is grateful for socks. But it's like, dude, you got to be grateful for those little things too.
Bro, I got to tell you, it does. And so I know that when we share gratitudes, it is personal, right? And vulnerable at times. But there have been a few times that I've read some of yours out loud to my family, because they're hilarious, man. You're so real. I love it, bro. And Rob always has the mindset of, hey, this is happening not to me, but for me. It's something you've said many times, and I'm grateful for that, because now I've adopted that a lot. You've had a lot of influence on me, bro. So I just want you to know that I hope I've reciprocated, half the value to you that I've gotten from you, man. So let's bring this home. We're going to round third and wrap this up. Obviously, the show's One Life. This is all about, aligning your faith, your marriage, your family, your purpose, your community, all these things out through your business. We don't have to compartmentalize these things. Rob, in light of that, what would you say to someone who might be trying to say, hey, they feel like they got to choose between this thriving business and a meaningful life? What would you say to them in closing?
I mean, it's all intertwined, right? Like, and we've talked about this before. Like, good health is important. A great relationship with your significant other is important. If running a great business and pouring your heart and soul into it is important. If you've got a great business but your home life is horrible, it's going to bleed into your into the business, right? So it's like, you've got to water the grass where you have that grass, right? And it's not about just having a great relationship but a crappy business, or having a great relationship and a great business but you treat your body like crap. Like, you've got to really water the grass. Everything it's all one big life, like you say, one life. And I truly believe that, what do they say? You are your team is as strong as your weakest link, mm-hmm. Right? I think it all matters, right? When I'm eating right, when I'm exercising, when I'm loving my wife, and I'm taking care of my clients, is when I'm the happiest. Right. And I can think about times where I haven't been eating right, or I've been fighting with my wife, and then that makes me feel like I'm not running a great business. So what I would say to somebody listening is, you've got to identify like the key areas of your life, and you have to find ways to pour into those key areas of your life to make sure that you are intentional about every aspect of your life, so that you're firing on all cylinders. And it's going to take work. It's going to be hard. It's going to get emotional, but growth comes through resistance, right? So you've got to get to the point where you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. If it's easy, you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah. That's so good, dude. Like, Tom Ferry, coach, always says, making your calls is hard. Well, not having food on the table is hard too.
Yeah, pick your heart.
Pouring into each of these areas with intention is difficult. And sometimes it's a little bit less of this to spend more time on this. But the opposite of not having, I know it's a cheesy example where you fill out that kind of the wheel, right? Where is it balanced or not? But you know what? Having an unbalanced wheel and driving down, that's very hard too, so.
Yeah. I mean, think about it like the bicycle spoke, like all those spokes are there for a reason. You cut one spoke, it's going to be a little bit lopsided, right? So it really does matter. All the different areas of your life, you really have to be intentional about it all. You can't just focus on one and hope the rest will fall into place. You got to do the work.
Love it, man. Well, Rob, dude, a huge thank you for being so raw and real and sharing your insights, man. Grateful for you being on the show.
Grateful, man. Thank you.
We didn't really get into it here, guys, but Rob is putting a ton of effort and energy into building a YouTube channel. It's extraordinary, honestly. So, Rob, how do they find you on YouTube?
If you search on YouTube, Robert Mack and Newport Beach, it'll probably pop up. It's called The Newport Beach Life.
Okay. Awesome, dude. And on the show notes, if you go to theonelifepodcast.com, we'll have show notes on there on how to get in touch with Rob. We'll have his YouTube channel on there. So please go check out the show notes so you can connect with Rob that way. And hey, guys, if you know somebody who just needs some energy or encouragement in their life, share this episode with them. Rob will always pump you up. He'll get you smiling. So share it. And just grateful for you listening. Rob, thanks again, bro. And we'll wrap it there.
My pleasure. Thank you, bro.
All right, bro. See ya.
I hope this episode encouraged you today. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, and rating the podcast. It truly means the world to me. And be sure to visit theonelifepodcast.com to join our community. That's where you'll find updates on virtual meetups, special events, and more. And remember, God created you on purpose for a purpose. You don't have to choose between a life of significance and a thriving business. You were made for both. This is One Life.